Welcome back to the Diaspora channel, and we are live, guys. I hope everyone is doing great. And I see you, Story of Motherhood. I see you, Curtis. Thanks so much for joining the live. I hope you guys are enjoying your week. And if it's your first time here, my name is Kaiga Biam, and the aim of this platform is to promote Black-owned businesses. So if you are new here, please, 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, sorry, our guest is here now with us. So thanks everyone for joining. Sandra, I see you. I hope you are doing great. Kindly thumbs up the stream, guys, and share the stream if you can. So today we're going to look at the situation right now, what is happening in Mali. For those of you that are not familiar with Mali, Mali is a country in West Africa with 19.1 roughly million of that's their population. And recently, you know, when people are fed up, people are tired, been protesting, no one is listening, no one is doing anything about it. It will reach a point where the people in their right mind would do what is right for them and for their people. Because in the first place, we know clearly that you as a leader is supposed to listen to the people that supposed to, supposedly you are there to serve those people. But in most cases in Africa, that is not the case. And when people are, expressing themselves by peaceful marches, protesting, you hear it, you hear those news. But when people do exactly what they're supposed to do for themselves and for the population, then that's where all of a sudden you hear from the AU, you hear from ECOWAS, you hear from the UN, and everyone is condemning, oh, this is cool, this is that, this is that. But my question is, where are these same organizations, these hypocrites? That's exactly how I would call them. Where were they when the Malians were protesting? Where were those people? Why we didn't hear anything from them? So that's what we're going to look at, this afternoon/evening, almost here. So please share the stream, call in, because we need to work together with the brothers and sisters on the continent to bring the change we want to see in Africa, because obviously no one else will do this for us. And our special guest is here right now with us, which is the African Unite force. So let me quickly add her. So guys, kindly thumbs up the stream and share if you can. Welcome the African Unite force. My lovely, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really thrilled to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, we're just going to dive right into it. I'm sure, the situation right now, what is happening in Mali. And, before you actually add you to the stream, I was sharing to the people in the stream that may not necessarily know Mali, I kind of highlight, about the country. And prior to these things, the coup, which is not actually a coup, is because the Malians, they were fed up, they were protesting, but obviously no one was listening to them. We didn't hear from the African Union, which is, who is very comfortable now, shouting that this is against the Constitution, this is not supposed to happen, blah, blah, blah. same with the ECOWAS, same with the UN and all of them. And that big group, right? That will sit comfortably backing them up with, their daddy, let's put it like that, because they are still working for the main man, which is Macron. So people are tired. They do exactly what everyone in the right mind would do, which is helping the people of Mali, because Mali is a rich country, like most, if not all, African country. So, what exactly do you think about the situation right now?
All right, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity for us to have this conversation. I think it
Cool.
is really very profound that what I'm seeing happening currently in the continent of Africa or globally is that many Africans are really getting involved in the affairs of the government, the affairs of the politics that is actually happening in Africa, because this is what we all should be doing, because a failure to do that, remember that any decision that is being made by these politicians, right, is going to affect each and every one of us, is going to affect everybody. So a little background check
Right.
about this this president of Mali, right, who goes by the name Ibrahim Boubacar Keita.
Keita, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
often known by his initials, right? IBK. he's
Mm-hmm.
a, he's a Malian politician, right, who served as the president of Mali from September 2013 to August 2020, when he was forced to resign as a result of the mutiny that took place, right? Mean the AU, the EU, the UN, and many of these, people who call themselves the world leaders, right? They're actually demanding release of the Mali president, right? And
Mm-hmm.
right, so they are like, who is and demanding the release of the Malian president. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and also, it's very interesting that the swiftness of the AU to respond, like the way they responded to this situation, it is really quite interesting to me and very funny at the same time. And equally the ECOWAS. For those of you who are not familiar with the ECOWAS is the Economic Community of West Africa States, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they've done is that they've suspended Mali from the region of body, and to ordered a sanction is being placed, right, for the masterminds behind the the coup, right, that actually took place. So how they came together and the place quickly they sat down, they discussed, they were able to trying to resolve this issue so swiftly. And then
Mm-hmm.
they're placing sanctions on the on the masterminds behind the mutiny that just took place, that we are just witnessing right in Mali.
Mm-hmm.
But what is actually happening is that the hypocrites of the AU, and also, but the bigger question that we as Africans should be asking ourselves is, who is actually behind the coup that actually took place? Because I am very skeptical, not literally, um, um, that it happened, but again, who is behind it? Because this president Ibrahim Babaka Keita,
Yeah.
Keita is a very well-known puppet to France. He's
Mm-hmm.
it's really obvious. It's a well-known puppet, right, to France.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yes.
who is behind the idea of this coup that actually took place? Is it is it France that is behind it? Because I'm really skeptical, right? So
Doubt it.
a lot of questions we should be asking and keeping our fingers crossed, right? And
Mm-hmm.
again, the AU coming out to condemn, placing sanctions and all of these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're unable to sit down and discuss the problem that is happening in Zimbabwe. They're unable to
That's
place
right.
they are unable to place sanctions on the Europeans or the British who came invaded the land of our ancestors. They invaded
Mm-hmm.
and they took from the native of the land, and now they're asking the Zimbabweans to pay $3.5 billion to
mm,
these invaders who came and stole, to the white
mhm,
farmers who came and stole the
mm,
land of the
mm,
natives.
mhm,
Now, I'm so like, why are the AUs not, why didn't they sit down and for such discussion? They were so swift to come
that's a
on
good
board.
question.
They're so swift to come on board to condemn and place
Mhm,
sanction on Mali. I mean, that's really, really ridiculous. And again, the ECOWAS are doing the same currently as I'm talking to you.
mm,
Majority of the leaders of the West African, like ECOWAS or West
mm,
Africans, are
mm,
currently in Mali as I'm talking to you, because the
mhm.
tension is really fierce.
Sitting
And
down.
right, they're currently in Mali to resolve, to
Mm,
see what they can do about this situation that is really on board. And
mm,
again, I want to address the hypocrisy of the EU and the UN, coming out to condemn, coming out to give their various statements. Who cares about the EU? Who cares about the AU? Excuse me, who cares about the UN and all of these people? We do not interfere.
exactly.
We do not interfere in their business. Why are they
That's right.
always in the business of Africa? Always coming
Mm,
to condemn, always
mm,
coming to state what should be done and what should not be done. We, the
mm,
people of Africa, we are not in their business telling them what to do. They have
mm,
their issues. They should face their issues and leave us the hell alone. We are going to serve this. We are going to face this issue that is on ground right now, because to me,
mm,
in a certain way,
mm,
again, look at the Malians, right?
mm,
There was a
mm.
huge jubilation. They were happy and all of that,
Yeah,
praising
yeah.
the coup that actually took place. Because why?
Mhm,
They were tired. They were tired. They are tired of the oppression. They are tired
mm,
of all the mistreatment that this
mm,
man, who happens to be a puppet ruler to
mm,
to the French government, right? They're tired of all the mistreatment they have been giving them, and they've been protesting for decades, crying for decades. We didn't
mhm,
see the world leaders, quote unquote world leaders, did not come out
mhm,
and condemn this man when the people were crying. When they were
mhm,
crying, we didn't see the US. They did not come out to speak and condemn this issue. They
mm.
condemned the president and his ill treatment to his people. Why? Because
Exactly.
they placed him there, and he is doing the biddings of the quote unquote colonizers, right? So I think that it is our responsibilities as Africans not to keep quiet, to rise
Mhm,
up and collectively work together, collectively stand on our ground and speak against the UN, the EU. They should off our business. We do not need them. We are not interfering in their business. They should
mhm,
back off. This is the right time to speak. No more silence. And we are sick and tired of them interfering. I mean, currently now, we have this France, right? Their soldiers are in the Sahel desert. I mean, for
they are
this,
in Mali as well.
yeah, in
Mhm,
Mali, right? For these
mhm,
insurgencies that they have created. Now,
mhm,
we Africans are not paying attention to see what they're actually collecting from, those areas and the things that they are doing there. So these are,
mhm.
what are they still doing there? What are they doing? We need them to back off. We need them
Exactly.
to get out of our continent. We are sick and
Mm,
tired of them interfering in our businesses, because we are not interfering in their business whenever they're holding their secret meetings and having
mm,
all their, whatever thing that they're doing in their politics. We are not going there to write. And again, I want to address the African publishers, because
mm,
I've seen them. They're always publishing that, oh, US have come to condemn this thing, or the United Nations have come to condemn, or this, giving these people more power, like whatever they have to say is
mm.
something that should be
It's
paramount.
finite.
Is final. I mean, we
Mm,
have to put a stop to such people like that in the continent of Africa, because we don't give we give
mm,
it is high time for we to take our continent, you know that belongs to us. So we are no
mhm.
longer leaving it in the hands of these puppet rulers. We are no
No.
longer living it. Again, I'm asking the AU, is it who are they actually working for? Because when it comes to issues that are affecting us as Africans, they are not
Mhm,
talking. They are not coming out to resolve this issue, right? But when it comes to something that has to do with their former colonizers and something that has to do with their image, I've heard a lot of people that stated that, oh, this is anti-democracy, and my thought is that, and that this was a coup, that particularly the UN and the AU. And now let's go back to history.
It's interesting. It's very interesting, the African Unite. You mentioned that because Cote d'Ivoire, which is also another country in West Africa, they're supposed to be, you have 2 terms and then you go home as a president. This current president, which is Alassane Ouattara, he decided to go for a 3rd time. But guess what? We didn't hear anything from France. We didn't hear anything from the AU, the UN, all those hypocrites out there that put themselves there in so-called organizations. We didn't hear nothing from them. But when people are crying in a specific country that you are not doing the right thing, because the reason why that happened, for those of you that are very familiar with politics in Africa, especially the Francophone countries, these boys, because they are not even men, those crooked leaders, they are boys, small boys. So it's like your dad said, go and sit there. That's France giving the orders to these boys. So what happens when they arrive, in fact, no one even will vote for them to start with. So when someone think like, oh, but we put you there to serve us, for most of them, the population, the people of those countries, they never voted for them in the first place. So they would do everything with their master and position them there to serve France. That's how it works. And guess what? What they do when they have, like, most of them, they have, as some other boys, which are their children. So mainly they prepare that, that child they have, they prepare them. So the aim is, as long as you are serving France, you stay there till you die. That's the aim. And once you're gone, they place your son there. So that's how these boys rolls. For those of you that are not familiar with Francophone and the politics, that's how it is basically. So this man now that we're talking about, he also have a son already ready. I think it's Salif Keita or something, the son of this same president. He's also been prepared, groomed properly. So the next thing, he still have, I think, a year before, he's supposed to vacate the seat. But they will do everything in their power within that 1 year, either to say, oh, I'm going for the 3rd time, I'm going for the 4th time. Unfortunately, that is our reality. I don't know if you know about Gabon, some of you in the stream. That president was there, for all throughout. And when he's gone, they prepare the son and they replace him. So it's just like monarchy now. That's how these people rules. And not only that country, another country, talking about that, I'm referring to my own country. So that's our reality, the Francophones. And anyone that will try to fight, people are fighting every day. Guess what? They make sure they have arms, they have this, they have that, to fight the people that most of them barely, they don't have war. They can't even afford, most of them, not all of them, they can't afford 3 meals a day. Whilst these puppets are there stealing money every single day, securing them in Switzerland banks, and that's how they roll. You see the children living lavish, like in luxurious houses, apartments, using money of the people they're supposed to use to serve the people anyhow. And this UN, this AU, this ECOWAS, all of them, they don't see those things. It's when people are fighting for what is right, then they will sit back and say, this is cool. Who is even giving that name, whatever cool they are calling?
It's a it's a British name, and it's an English name. So they always look for. I mean, I've seen in the news they call it mutiny. They've given it all kind of name. They
Mm-hmm.
have special
Mm-hmm.
names that they invent, special word that they invent for Africans, right? Whenever
Mm-hmm.
something is happening over there. My ask
Mm-hmm.
just stated, did you say the AU or the EU? I think it is I stated the AU place the sanction, right? But let's go back to history, and let's talk about those people who are out there talking about anti-democracy, that this is
Mm-hmm.
anti-democracy. Now, back in November 1884 to 1885, 18
Mm-hmm.
European nations, they sat for a coup in Africa, for the scramble of Africa. They
Mm-hmm.
dethroned all our leaders. They dethroned all our traditional leaders as a result, as a means of coup. They killed them, they murdered them. So let's start with the EU, of their hypocrisy, that they are talking
Exactly.
about, the affairs that is happening in Africa. We have not
Mm-hmm.
placed sanction on them. We have not talked about the coup. They did not invite any continental African for
Mm-hmm.
that coup that they placed. So let's talk about the coup that they placed in, that they did to Africa,
Mm-hmm.
which has totally destroyed us and is still destroying us as a people. So our
Mm-hmm.
silence for decades is what is making them, giving them the right to still come and talk. Because I'm thinking, who the hell are these people?
Exactly.
What right do they have? And now
Mm-hmm.
the bigger question that we have on board is our puppet rulers. We as Africans, we must rise up to these puppet rulers. They are not more powerful than us. They are not more
No,
African than us. We,
no,
the people, are the government. Like I always stated it, that the power lies within the people.
the
These
people.
African
Sure.
puppet rulers, they look
Mm-hmm.
for something that will bind them together, that will bring them together. When
Mm-hmm.
they come together, there is neither Christians or Muslim. There is neither
Mm.
I am from Zimbabwe, I am from Nigeria, I
No,
am from Ghana. They all come together. There is no tribalism. And what is
no.
that thing that binds them together is corruption. And that is what
Mm-hmm.
I am asking for the Africans to do. Let's look for one thing that will bind us together. Let's keep our differences aside. There is something that we can relate to, and that is
Mm-hmm.
oppression, and that is, oppression and poverty. So these are the
That's it.
things that we have together in common
Mm-hmm.
as Africans. So we need to see the bigger picture, and we need to stand up to these people and make demands, because we
Mm-hmm.
cannot allow them to keep striking the wrong deals for us.
No,
We cannot
no.
allow them to still be answerable to their puppet rulers. We cannot
Mm-hmm.
allow them to keep allowing the invaders that came since ages, since centuries, and they have
Mm-hmm.
been oppressing us. They are stealing, invading, they rape,
Enough
they
is
kill
enough.
our people. Enough is enough. It is
Mm.
high time we rise up and speak. It is high time we take action.
That's right. That's right. And I agree with everything you said, because these people that always all of a sudden show their heads is when whatever the people on the ground are doing to set their own free is against whatever what agenda they already have on the continent. That's why you're going to see all these big boys all of a sudden. We condemning this. We don't agree with this. This is no democracy. In those same countries, when those same men, when those same boys, they place there, they want to go for fourth, fifth, sixth time. No one say anything about democracy. Are they doing the same thing in their own countries? And do we from Africa put our mouth in their businesses? So clearly, they just have to sit down. They really have to sit down. As long as people are not there killing people mercilessly, they are not doing that. They are protesting peacefully. And then when the military know that, okay, this is not good for our people, and they do what they have to do, what is your own problem?
Right.
We are tired, like everyone. We are so tired. So please, you have your own mess in your countries. Please fix those mess.
Right.
Because you are bringing up things that we don't even practice where we come from. And those things you are legalizing left and center. Please solve those problems and leave us alone.
Right. Again, I am calling for Africans. When I
Please, guys,
mean
the link
African,
is in the chat. If anyone wants to call and contribute, the link is in the chat. Sorry, sis, go ahead.
excuse me. Right. I'm calling for all Africans globally. Let us review what democracy is all about, because if we go back to history, you will
Mm,
find that the democracy is un-African, and I have been stating this for decades, that listen, democracy is un-African. It has never been our practice. It has never worked
mm,
for us as a people.
mm, mhm,
We need to review.
mhm. I agree, because it's only what is what have worked for our people that we can go back to. And know when things are going against certain people' interests, that's where all of a sudden they remember that word and they'll throw it out there. But when things are not working in the favor of the people of those specific country, we don't hear them. We don't hear these people that all of a sudden will start talking left and center. But just hear it very clearly, because the youth on the continent, they are not sleeping. The diaspora is the same. So it's either you work with the people, your own people, or they will find a nice way, like it happened in Mali, to make sure you vacate that seat, because you are not serving them. You are not there for the people.
Right.
So
And
yeah, go ahead.
right, and those who keep saying democracy this, democracy that, that freedom of this, freedom of that. Listen, who actually is the originator of democracy? Who brought it to the continent of Africa?
Mhm,
It is the Europeans. And how did they
mhm,
bring it? They brought it through as a means of default, because they came in forcefully. They brought
mhm,
democracy forcefully. They did not respect our traditional rulership, our traditional
mhm,
governance. They killed
mhm,
all our traditional kings. They killed all our traditional rulers. They sent some of them for slavery. They took some of them for slavery forcefully. So they brought in this their democracy that has never worked for us as a people. And I'm calling for a review of this democracy. Democracy is un-African. It is not working for us. The British, they brought democracy. Democracy is has been killing us for decades. So we need a review. We have to look at the bigger picture about what is really going on in the continent of Africa. All these rules and regulations and this constitution that has been in place for decades has not helped us. Just take a look at the African constitution. It has always
mhm,
been the colonial constitution. It has always been the constitution that was set since 1884 to 1885 in Berlin.
mhm.
Nothing or little has changed.
That's right.
And we are not making demands. So we need to reprogram our minds. We need to, look at our educational system, because we need to wake our people up. We
That's
need
right.
to, because the educational system in Africa that we are operating on is the British and the Western system of education. It has to be
Mhm,
reviewed.
mhm. I
The
agree.
African, the African politicians, they lack the political will to reform Africa.
Mm, on purpose.
So it is our collective responsibilities as the people, as Africans, to come together, to work together. That is why I'm calling for our unity. Let's keep our differences aside. The politicians and these puppet rulers were trained
Mm,
by their colonizers, so they know nothing. The only thing they can do is to behave like their colonizers, is to oppress us like their colonizers, is to use
even worse.
the same
Mm,
tactics that were used on them, against us. The divide and conquer tactics. They bring
mm,
religion to further separate us. They bring
mm,
tribalism to separate us. Let
mm,
us look at one thing that we have in common.
mm,
We are being oppressed and we are poor. Not that our continent is poor. No, It is us, the people, because our gold, our natural resources, they give liberty to the Chinese, Lebanese, Indians, and to the Europeans to keep mining our golds. And some of them, they're doing it illegally, because of the corruption. They have no say. They've looted all our wealth, and they have the reserve in the banks of the colonizers. So we are not going to be silent anymore, and we must come out in our numbers to speak against these puppet rulers, because they are the people that don't have the balls to stand up to the colonizers, because they are doing the biddings of the colonizers. They mind the colonizers. They have zero respect for the African people. And they are not ready to serve the African people. Hence, they must leave the office, because you're there to work, you're there to serve us. And if you're not going to do it, so it is better you resign. And let the people who are ready to do the work, who are ready to work for their people, not for strangers, not for foreigners. We are sick and tired of these people doing the biddings of foreigners, putting foreigners over their people.
Exactly.
That is why I'm saying let's go back to ancient tradition, because if you give these people the Bible and the Quran to come and swear, they are so, they come very fast, they come so quickly to swear on this. Let us ask them to go and swear on the African shrine. They are so much afraid they don't want to go, because they know there is consequences when it comes to our ancient practices. We need to review everything that has been taught to us, that has been given to us. We need to stand up to the colonizers and tell them enough is enough. We need to tell them to, again, I don't know who is this France, who the hell France is, honestly, that they have refused to leave Africa.
Yeah, and you know why they have refused? It's simply because everything they've been doing all these years, they don't have nothing. Like most of them, most of these countries that are all the time in our businesses, they don't have nothing. So to consider only the amount of money they take from us, the Francophone, to support their own country. And that is just one aspect. We are not talking about the resources. We are not talking about the contracts that certain of these Francophone countries, before you sign any contract, it have to be what the master agree with before even you go ahead and sign those things. So when they sit down and go through all those things, and the thing is, before even one will come, become a president, for example, they'll come with all this sweet word, whether it's coming from a good place or not. They will say things that they're going to be different than the previous president of France. They will say all sorts, and as soon as they become president, they start exactly doing the same thing. It's either they don't actually know that if they actually carry on with the plans they want to, the things they want to do for Africa, France is going to sink before making those statements. I don't know. But as soon as they, like that, this small Macron we are talking about, he said all sorts of things. As if, once he became president, the relationship with France, Afrique, that's what it's called. Everything is going to be different, blah, blah, blah. As soon as you see this small man down, that's it. Everything changed. So they know that without Africa and what they are doing, without that, France will be even, they can't even classify France as third world country, as they know. They eagerly class certain countries. France won't be even in that position because they don't have nothing.
I mean, France, everything they have is as a result of the loot that they have been looting from Africa for decades. So, I mean, such countries should be ashamed of themselves that they cannot stand on their own. They're not independent. They come to Africa, they loot. You see, our artifact is in their museum, and a white man is seated there telling you about the history of Africa. What sort of madness is that? How can you tell me the history of my ancestors that looks nothing like you from a Eurocentric perspective? and someone is asking, we know the problem, what is the solution? The solution
Yes,
is for us
the
to keep,
person can call in. The link is in the chat. The
yeah,
link is actually in the chat.
the
And we
solution
are
is
actually encouraging people on the ground right now, the brothers and sisters on the ground, to carry on doing what they are doing. So that's
so
exactly those things we are talking about right now. So if you
right.
have any suggestion or wherever you are, whatever you are doing in your corner, please, the link is in the chat. We appreciate if you can call in and say what you are doing on your side to bring the change we all wanted. That's why we have this type of live stream, so we can learn from each other and see who we can actually work with. So that is an amazing question. What are you doing in your own corner? Feel free to call. And if you have suggestion, please go ahead and do that. It's open to anyone. That's why the link is in the chat. Yes, sorry,
Right.
dear. Go ahead.
So part of the change is what we are doing now. Part of the change is educating our people. Part of the change is bringing the information to our people. And part of the change is you and I to be responsible. Part of the change is you and I holding these leaders accountable. Part of the change is us not being silent anymore. Part of the change is us reviewing our educational system. Part of the
The
change is us
curriculum.
discouraging our African youth, our children, from traveling to the West and to France to go and study. These are part of the change, because when they go to these places to study, they further indoctrinate them to
Yeah.
become loyal slaves. They
Yes.
indoctrinate our
I
people
agree.
to become loyal slaves. Our people, they sell their lands and property back home just to go and get a colonized degree to become loyal slaves. So when they come back to Africa, they cannot even stand up and challenge these people that have trained them to become loyal slaves. They cannot stand up to the people who have trained them or prepared them for life. How can you challenge the same people that you have not developed feelings and emotions for? You have ties with them. How can you break out? So we need to separate ourselves from these people completely and set the line and record straight. We need to keep educating our people, because a lot of us are so much brainwashed. So when you are brainwashed and your conscious mind is no longer working,
Dead.
you are
Literally
mentally
dead.
you're mentally conquered. We as Africa, majority of us are mentally conquered. So therefore, physically, we are also conquered as a people. We need the mental change. And that is what we are doing, educating our people, telling them, bringing the right information from the right media, not from the quote unquote mainstream media that
That's
propagate,
right.
do their propaganda and bring out false news, false lies, and all of these things. This is the change we are talking about. We are taking the bulls by the horns. We are not letting them be the one to narrate our
No.
stories anymore. We are not putting it in their hands anymore for them to keep telling
Right.
us who we are. We are taking the bull by the horn, and we are the ones telling our stories and narrating it the way it is. And this is the
Right.
change that is happening. It might not happen, it might not happen all of a sudden, it might not happen immediately, but it is a gradual process. And I do believe that if we come collectively, if we put our differences aside as Africans, if we can understand the tactics of the West and the puppet rulers, because they work together to
Yes.
to see us that we are further divided as a people. If we can
Mm-hmm.
learn their tactics, because they quote unquote, they say they are very polite, they are very calm. There is nothing like being polite and being calm about oppression. There is nothing like being polite and being calm about poverty. There is nothing as such. So we need to come and speak the way the way it is, and it is affecting us as a people. Nobody should tell us that we should be calm. Nobody should tell us that we should take it easy. For decades, we have been calm.
For
For
how
decades,
long?
we have been taking it easy. Nothing has changed. This is the time to speak out. This is the time for us to rise up and defend and take our land. Now, as I'm talking to you, these puppet rulers are selling our land to the Chinese, Lebanese, and Indians and the Europeans. And what are we doing? We are being quiet. We are giving our best years to the West and Europe, and we give our waning years to Africa. Who is going to fix Africa for us? Who is going to take Africa from the hands of these puppet rulers and stand up to them and ask them for and demand for the right rulership? It is our responsibilities collectively as Africans to rise up to these people and speak the truth. To rise up and when I'm asking some people, what do you think respect is all about? Respect is the truth. It's standing for the truth. It is not when you politely talk to somebody. That is the English interpretation, and that is the British standard and ways. That is their culture. So when you are in that area, you behave like them and you give them such kind of respect, dictated respect. But in the African setting, respect is justice. Respect is the truth, and you stand up to it.
So we all have our part to play if we truly want things to change. So wherever you are, carry on. If you are already doing that, amazing. Keep doing that and reach out to like-minded brothers and sisters that are also on the same journey like yourself, so we can also, encourage and strengthen one another. Because if we are waiting for these so-called leaders to change things for us and for the next generation, these people have been waiting for years, and it's just like a repetition. It's a repetition. And those people, so-called, different organizations that are out there shouting left and center now that this is a coup, we don't see them. We don't see them. Some countries like which one? Cameroon. That man has been there all this while.
Is there
I don't know
alive?
if I think 35 or 37 years now. Just
Is there
one
alive?
person. So that has become like a lifestyle, a norm for the francophone countries, most of them. Or what happened, that exactly the way they have to remove most of them. And the sad part is you don't see these same people that are out here now on mainstream media calling this cool. You don't see them doing anything. When this president sits in that position for if it's 2 terms for 4 years, by 8 years you're supposed to vacate that seat. Those presidents, they will see that, like I'm saying, this specific one now I'm talking about, he's been there like 36 or 37 years. And no one come out here and say, this is not democracy. We don't hear nothing from France because they are actually serving on their own interests. The same thing is about to happen now in Ivory Coast, like I mentioned earlier. No one said anything when this man said, oh, I'm going for the third time. So it's just to tell, anyone out there watching us right now that no one is going to do it for us. It's about time we wake up. And for the people that they are specialists out there that always keep questioning people, oh, so now we know the problem. What are you doing? Well, right now we are doing something by talking about it and by encouraging people to do what they are doing, because they are not killing anybody. It's just peaceful, protest they've been doing. So they should carry on doing that. We are educating our youth that stay wherever you are. Stay, if it's Mali, stay in Mali. Because there are different things working out now, how we, the diaspora, can work with you guys on the continent. So it's so good to be cozy in the chat. When there are links, we don't hear anything from you. When we want you to call in, we don't hear anything. And then you are out there questioning people. They are doing what they can do. We are doing what we can do. And we are learning every day to do things better. So please, if you don't have any contribution, please, if you want to sit in and watch, sit in and watch. But don't come here and be saying, certain things, because I'm sure if you want to have a platform to educate, to inspire, everyone have, that green light out there to go there and do that. So our guest is here, she's sharing, she's empowering, and that's what this platform is about. So if you are here, very, very welcome. Share your idea, tell us what you are doing. That's what we do on this platform. And please kindly thumbs up the stream as you join. And like I said, if you have anything to contribute before we end the live, please feel free to call in. And yeah, I'm going to put the African Unite link right now in the chat. So please go ahead and support her, because this job, what we are actually doing now, is not BBC that will do it on our behalf. And we need to reach out to our brothers and sisters on the continent, because they are actually the future. And those are the people we care about. So go out, and then subscribe and support her. Yeah,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Right. And also, I was discussing with some close friends, and we were talking about how when we were growing up, they were
Mm,
telling us that, oh, we are the future leaders. We are the people that are going to, we are the future leaders. We are the future
mm,
leaders. For
mm,
decades, we are the future leaders. Some of us are 40, some of us are 50, 60.
mm,
We are still the future leaders. These puppet rulers have been in power for over God knows how long. They are not ready to
mm-hmm,
go out. Some of
mm-hmm.
them, they die on seat.
Yeah.
You understand? Medically, they are not fit.
Mm-mm.
Mentally, they are not fit. Physically, they are not fit. They are the oldest in
True.
the world. They use
Mm-hmm.
their walking stick, I beg your
Kids,
pardon,
yeah.
and they still stay there on power. Some of them are on wheelchairs, and they have refused to resign or leave the power for the people and the right people. Now tell
Mm-hmm.
me, in your
All
right
right,
mind,
people. That's very good.
what do you
Important.
think that we are going to do when we are, seeing all these things that has been happening, and these people are being backed up by the UN and the EU? Because
Mm,
why? They are just there for their interest. They don't care
that's
about us,
it.
the African people.
No.
So it is your responsibility as an African to rise up to these people, because I'm beginning to suspect that these people are no longer humans, they are clones. Because again, yes, this is my observation, and this the reason
Mm,
I'm stating this is because
mm,
they go for medication and for their medical health and checkup in UN, in AU, in all of this nation, right? This is where
mm-hmm.
they take their children. None of them and their kids are studying in and their children are not studying in Africa. They own
Yeah.
no African degree. All of them, they have a European degree. They have the Western degree.
Mm-hmm.
So they go, their friends, their close relatives, their families, they all fly to Europe and the West for treatment. So what
Yeah.
do? I am suspecting they kill them there and they bring clones to us, because these people, they are so, their heart is so stiff, they are so, in fact, they're adamant to what we are doing. It doesn't bother them. They only do the biddings of the West.
Hmm.
So they belong to the West. We should deport them there because they are needed there. We don't need them in Africa.
Nice one. We should call them, right? So how what can we do to stay on code? I think that's someone make a comment. So what do you think us, the young, the old, what can we do?
The first thing that the thing that we can do is, one is, first we need to be fully involved in our politics. What is happening in our politics? We should not say that it is that it is not on my business. I don't want to
Mm,
get myself involved. I don't want to be part of this. Of this their corruption. I don't want to be part of these things. Now you better
mm,
understand that any decision that they take and whatever rules and regulation that they put is going to affect you, your family, and your generation to come. So it is your responsibility to be involved. It is your right to be involved and be part of what is happening in the politics of your continent and your country as
mm,
Africans, right?
mhm,
That is one. Secondly, we need to educate ourselves the right way, not to be feeding our minds on the Western system of education that
mm,
is making us to be, brainwashing us and making us to be loyal slaves, because the
mm,
Western system of education has nothing to offer to Africa, has never offered us anything. Hence, they obliterate our history from our history books. They make sure they wipe off everything that will remind us of who we are. The only thing that many
Goodness.
Africans they know about themselves is about colonization. It's about after
Mm,
colonization, but we know nothing about
mm,
our history before colonization, only after colonization. And again, that has to do with our educational system. It
mhm.
has to
Need to
it,
change that
it
curriculum.
has to be reviewed. It has
Mm-hmm,
to be crushed down, because it is not our educational system. The curriculum was set up by the British since colonization. Nothing has
mm-hmm,
changed. The whatever books we are reading, it is this European books. Little or no African books is there, or stories. We keep
mm,
facing the West and putting our hopes on the West. That mentality has to change. Again, it lies in our minds. We need to change our minds. We need to do away with tribalism. Let us look for something that we have in common. I keep stating it. It is poverty. It is oppression. Let us learn the tactics of these people, of these puppet rulers, that what they are doing is to oppress us and to divide us. And let's come together and work
Awesome.
together and bring about that change. We have to be responsible as Africans, and we must be accountable. We must place demands on these people never to be quiet anymore, never to be quiet. Whatever that is happening in Zimbabwe, we all should collectively be involved.
I
We have
agree.
to collectively put pressure on the AU to sit down and discuss that issue. The AU, they are waiting for the EU to first make a decision and decide what is going to happen in Zimbabwe before they are able to take any decision. So what is the use of the AU? Are they there for the biddings of the EU, or they are there to do the biddings of Africans? So if they are not ready to work for the Africans, they should be abolished and be removed.
That's right.
And let us bring an organization that is going to work for us. It is high time we rise up. I am calling on the African men. Where is the king in you? Let it rise up. Let it rise within you. And also the African woman. We are not weak, as they have termed us to be weak. We are not weak. Let us rise up to these people. They are not powerful like you think they are. If we rise up and speak with one voice, you will see that our unity is all that can, is all that it takes for us, to bring that Africa, to break those bounds and those shackles. So I'm
So
calling for our unity, guys. Let's unite and make Africa great. Thank you so much.
awesome. Thanks so much, Sis, for joining us, the African Unite. The link is in the chat. So guys, kindly, subscribe to her channel and support her. So, this is very, very easy. You don't have any fee to pay to subscribe to anyone's platform. It's all about supporting them and know exactly what they are doing and learn as well from, whatever they are sharing with their viewers. So guys, you know exactly what you need to do. I know what I need to do. Whilst we are doing it together, when you go in your own corner, ask yourself, can I do better? Who can I reach out to? Each one teach one. So make sure you do your part, I do my own part, and together, surely, surely, surely change will come on the continent. So it's down to us if we want a better future for our children, for the next generation. We can't sit down and talk about these people and not doing anything. Peaceful, protest out there. Keep doing that. Keep making though it might seem like no one is hearing you, keep doing that. And if you are, religious leaders out there, you also have a role to play. Use your voice, reach out to your congregation. The people on the ground, they deserve what is best for them. Not only these puppet leaders that will put here the children, take them outside the country for them to live a comfortable life and leave our own people suffering, while some of them cannot even afford to have like 3 meals a day. Those things have to change. They are not asking for too much, and this can change if me and you as well that watch this stream later, we are doing our part. So please support Black-owned businesses. You know that this is the main reason of this platform. That's why I put this, I create this channel. So if you don't normally do that, I will encourage you. We need the funds, so please support Black businesses out there. And if you are not happy with the services, you have a mouth, you can reach out to people by emails, or talk to them so they can do things better. We are all here to learn and do things better. So right now, this Faith, Hope, Love dress is in store, and it's on sale. So if you go there and you order your own, you are supporting me in this case. And thanks everyone for joining the stream, and for subscribing to this platform. I hope you guys also manage to subscribe to the African Unite. Let's do this together. I need you, you need me, and with one voice, change will surely come. And thanks so much, the African Unite, for joining me. And
Thank you for
we
having
had
me.
so much enjoy having you here. And I will see you all very soon. And take care for now. Bye.
Thank you. Bye,
You're
guys.
welcome.
Bye.